king. He institutes false religion, idolatry, all these things. And it's just one bad king after the next. It actually goes from bad to worse till we get to Ahab. Ahab is so bad. And don't forget Jezebel. She's part of the deal about why things are so bad. And they now, the capital of the north is Samaria. Okay, so that's where they reside. And we're kind of interrupting the Elijah story. So we kind of get, Elijah comes, and we see this Elijah part, and now we're kind of stepping away from that. And we're talking about this king, Ben-Hadad, in Syria or Aram. It's the northeast of Israel. It's about the year 874, if you're keeping track of calendar times, 874 BC. And he's got this large confederation. Now I want you to see a couple of pictures here. John, can we see number 2? All right, that's not Ben-Hadad, but this is the same time period. And the Assyrian king, so Ben-Hadad's the king of Syria, but Assyria, a different empire, I think it's Shalmaneser. I mean, this is a picture of one of the kings of the time. Like, this is just amazing. What do these people look like? There's one right there. Can we see number 3? So that's Damascus, more, 100 years ago. And then can we see number 5? You think, wow, a stone. Pretty cool, huh? Anyway, what's on this stone? Well, interestingly, it mentions the king, Ben-Hadad, and it also mentions Ahab on here. On this stone. This is from 852 BC. So it mentions the two people that were in this verse, but I'm not sure that she wasn't meant. But why do they want the women and the children? I mean, they'll rape them, they'll enslave them, they'll sell them. Ben-Hadad's not a nice guy. This is humiliating, what he's doing here. It's satanic, right? What does the enemy want to do? Kill, steal, and destroy. That's it. So this guy shows up kind of as like a representative of that. No boundaries. He's got in his mind, an easy victory. If we fight, but he's not gracious in victory. People can be gracious in victory, or gracious because they're stronger. Well, he's not like that. Actually, he's overconfident. And he's taken advantage, right? This power that he has, this strength that he has, he's taken advantage of it, and he's using it to bully people or to be just taken advantage. All right, so because Ahab is really under him and a small force, this guy can come and ask for whatever he wants. Well, verse 4, the king of Israel answered and said, "My lord, O king, just as you say, I and all that I have are yours." I mean, he's not putting up a fight here. He's totally submissive. I surrender, I submit, I'm your subordinate. And you think, well, maybe he's hoping there'll be some mercy. Maybe he's trying to buy time, although he doesn't have a backup plan. Maybe he thinks, look, if they just attack me, maybe they'll leave the rest of the country alone. He can always raise taxes tomorrow and maybe make up his loss. I don't know exactly what he's thinking. But he doesn't have any options. Verse 5, then the messengers came back and said, "Thus speaks Ben-Hadad, saying, Indeed, I have sent to you, saying, You shall deliver to me your silver and your gold, your wives and your children. But I will send my servants to you tomorrow about this time, and they shall search your house and the houses of your servants. And it shall be that whatever is pleasant in your eyes, they will put it in their hands and take it." It's almost like Ben-Hadad is like, this whole like your gold, your silver, your wives and children, that was kind of too easy. I think I should have asked for more to begin with. And notice that I think it's also kind of crazy. You have to deliver it. I want all these things. By the way, you're going to bring them to me. I mean, it's not like I'm coming to get it. Then after you bring what I want, we're going to come in and just cherry pick whatever we see that looks good. And he's not polite. He's not going to be nice. They're vicious. They're immoral. They're not going to be careful or clean up after themselves. They're just going to do whatever they want, take whatever they want, destroy whatever they feel like destroying, and no one can do anything about it. And when's that going to happen? Tomorrow at this time. 24 hours. You have 24 hours, and this is what we're coming in. And the thing that changed here in this response is it wasn't just about the king's house anymore. I'm going to do this in any house in Israel that I feel like it. All of your servants. And so that's what Ben-Hadad has just announced here. It's demoralizing, right? And you can't do anything about it. That's what he's kind of rubbing it in. He's treating him as an inferior, like he's less than human, no respect. He's subhuman. I mean, how could you treat another person like this? And so basically he's saying, look, the whole city's mine. We're going to come in and take whatever we feel like taking and hurt whoever we want and whatever. It should be an incitement to war. I mean, what else could you respond with but to go to war? But he's so prideful and he's so arrogant because there's no way he could lose as far as he's concerned. And I think Ahab thinks the same. Well, Ahab, he doesn't really like the second part of the deal here, where all of a sudden this is spread out to everyone outside of his own home. He was going to accept it happening to him. So the king of Israel, verse 7, called all the elders of the land and said, "Notice, please, and see how this man seeks trouble. For he sent to me for my wives and my children, my silver and my gold, and I did not deny him." I think in a way, this story is so sad, it almost makes Ahab seem like a good guy, for part of it, which is just shocking if Ben-Hadad is that bad. But it seems wise here. You go to the elders of the nation, you say, "Hey, look, this is what's happened. I was going to go along with it up to this point. They were going to take my house, my stuff, fine. But now it's something bigger." And he feels the need to talk to the elders, which I think was a good idea. And all the elders and all the people said to him, "Do not listen or consent." Look, sometimes it's true. I think it's better to die free than die a slave, or in some situations. Maybe it would be better. Just go to war and lose, or to call his bluff. Maybe the guy's not for real. Who knows? But they can't consent to this. They know what's coming, and they're not going to say okay to it. Verse 9, therefore he said to the messengers of Ben-Hadad, "Tell my lord the king, all that you sent for to your servant the first time, just his house, I will do. But this thing I cannot do." And the messengers departed and brought back word to him. Like, I will submit to the first thing that we agreed to, but I can't do this. And so he's making a stand, which I think for Ahab is a bit shocking, honestly. I didn't think he had it in him. But here, we see him kind of having a spine. But I think the question is, well, can you tell Ben-Hadad no? He's telling him no, but is that really an option? What really happens now? And I don't know what the playbook is here. What happens now? Can we see 42, John? Yeah, so this is Ahab's palace. It's just amazing that we know where these places are. All right, then Ben-Hadad sent to him, verse 10, and said, "The gods do so to me, and more also, if enough dust is left on Samaria for a handful for each of the people who follow me." In a way, it sounds like Jezebel. Remember when Jezebel, she says to Elijah, "If you're not dead by tomorrow, let the gods bring a curse on me." So it's kind of parallel here to what she said. But he's basically saying, look, there's going to be nothing left. He's pronouncing doom. Everyone that comes in to fight your city, there's not going to be anything left. If everyone maybe could get a handful of dust, that's all there's going to be when everything's destroyed. That's what he's saying. And he feels capable, I think, of doing that, total destruction. It's a threat that everyone thinks, well, this guy can actually do it. He's not just making these things up. He has the kind of army that could accomplish this. So the king, verse 11, of Israel answered and said, "Tell him, let not the one who puts on his armor boast like the one who takes it off." That's not what I would have said. But what is he even talking about? He doesn't back down. The guy is totally bullying him. And we would say, don't count your chickens before they're hatched. Right? He's telling them, it's one thing to boast before the war. Well, let's see what it's like after the war. Which is pretty bold. He's saying, preparing is one thing, but winning is another. And so he's dismissing his threats, which I'm sure is infuriating to Ben-Hadad. He didn't expect him to say, to stand up to him. He doesn't expect him to even have a chance. So it's probably irritating. So he kind of pokes him back a little bit and saying, you're just boasting here. And it happened when Ben-Hadad heard this message, as he and the kings were drinking at the command post, that he said to his servants, "Get ready." And they got ready to attack the city. Can we see 50, John? All right, so this is where they think that, it tells us he's in Sukkot. Where is Ben-Hadad located? Where is his base here? Can we see 51? So this is probably where he is with his army. Now it gives us this little detail here, verse 12. He was drinking, and this is meant to show us something negative. He says he's ready. He acts like, well, we're ready. We're ready for this fight. And you assume it means, we're going to do this tomorrow. He doesn't think there's any way he'll be challenged. He doesn't think there's any way he'll be attacked, right? He's so confident. It's just whenever they decide, we go in, we just take whatever we want. That's how he feels. So he'll never imagine anything different than that. Well, verse 13, suddenly a prophet approached Ahab, king of